All right, hey. How's it going? All right, so here we are. I mean, I can do it. Rant and chill. Rant and chill. Tomorrow, probably not. Tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be busy around this time. 100%. Taking some time, taking my lunch break, doing this here. That's how I do it. Rant and chill, where I just talk about whatever's on my mind, everyday issues. I try to keep it that way. Sometimes politics seeps in. I try to not do that, but oh my God, I'm horrible. All right, man. We're gonna talk here. We're gonna talk here about can men and women be friends? Can they just be friends? I talked a little bit about this yesterday during the rant, talking about my experience with many chick friends, the numerous chick friends that I've had, and the awkwardness that sometimes happens. Not all of them, because if it was all of them, then I would be the common denominator there, right? No, there's just some moments, some situations where it's like, what's going on here? What's going on? Because I have a fiance. We'll get into that. We'll get into that, and let's talk about. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. With Rant and Chill, it's always really in the moment. Like, nothing's really planned. That's it. Just sort of go. If you like that sort of thing, I rarely ever say this, guys. But like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Yeah. All right, we drink some water from a patriotic cup. Oh, shit. How you guys feel about America? Feel patriotic? Not patriotic? I know. Anymore, I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. Let me know in the chat, in the comment section, whether or not you believe men and women can be just friends, if it's possible, and why that is. Okay? I could tell you there's psych studies, really meaning surveys. I mean, when they say psych studies, they're talking about research based on surveys. And I kind of shared a little bit of my feelings about that. I revealed a little bit of that. I think a science based on surveys, especially research, is kind of like, well, what are you surveying? Is this something that you could really measure what's going on here? And do you have enough of a population to count for, outliers and things like that? And besides, what you're getting is just, you're just trying to find a norm or trend within a population here. Okay. So, based on these survey studies, the answer is no. Men and women cannot just be friends. It's complicated. But you probably already know that from your own personal experience. You didn't need a survey to tell you that. But the survey will tell you it this way, depending on where you read them from, that, men and women could be friends if everyone was a woman. So drink more soy, eat more tofu, and, stop being a man. I mean, that wasn't really the advice, but you do get that. There's an article that I'm looking at here from Scientific American that it cites a study. Okay, but it wasn't the study that said, I don't know, I didn't read that study specifically, but in the article it's like, oh, well, men and women could be friends if all men just acted like women. Well, if all men acted like women, we would just be crying about our emotions all day and nothing would get done. Okay, ladies, for the 1% that watch, come on now. Don't take anything I say super serial. Come on now. Ladies, we all know that ladies tend to be more emotional than men. Come on, that's a fact. I'm spitting on facts here. Come on now. Oh. Okay. And for any ladies in doubt about that, it's like, why is it when you go to a man, they give you practical advice? They give you advice to like how to solve a situation, and then you turn around and be like, I don't want that. I just want you to agree with me, and that's it. Let me cry about it. I was like, okay, honey. I was trying to fix it, but okay. Anyway. All right. So, yeah, men and women cannot be friends. it gets complicated because men and women want different things. Now, on average, when men and women are hooking up to be friends and they're assuming that they're heterosexual, on average, generally speaking, while the man might say, yeah, I'm interested in being friends, there is another motive there. Could this be something else? Could this be romantic? Could this be sexual? And I'm not trying to frame this in any sort of negative way. When I say this, I don't mean it like a negative way. Shame on you men for thinking that way. Come on. What? We think that way because we're programmed that way. We're going to invest time and energy and resources, money, and dating, and pretty much whining and dining, showing, pretty much trying to win the affection, win the attention and the affection of a woman. Well, I mean, unless you have another woman, you're probably expecting something or hoping that it blossoms and that the friendship becomes something else. That's how men operate. That's how men operate. And like I said, there's nothing bad about that. Some articles, some places might try to shame you for it. Like, oh, that's toxic or wrong. Or some feminists might go out there and say, oh, well, that just shows men only think about sex. Well, men do think about sex quite a bit. And you ladies can't say you don't. Come on now. I have read those lady magazines. The Cosmos and all that stuff. It's nothing but sex. What are you talking about? And I mean nothing but sex. You know how many butt sex advice there are? And there's like Cosmo and the Teen Cosmo. Why am I reading Teen Cosmo or whatever? I was curious. What was in those things. And it wasn't even recently. But it doesn't matter. It's not like they change over time. Oh, ow. So, yeah, men, if they're friends with women, there's that under desire, there's that little voice. While things can be going well, I go on your very platonic friendship outings, there's always that voice of, could this be something more? After all, you're spending all this time with this woman, this girl, and if you find her attractive, you might start noticing her in a different way. You might start really noticing her smile or different ways, different little cute things about her. And it's like, damn, right now we're just friends. But could we? At the same time, there's always that concern of, well, I mean, do I want to jeopardize this and what's going on? Because this is good right now. But could we make it better? In a man's perspective, it's all about better. Can we make it better? Now, of course, it might be selfish for us. Make it better for us. And I say that because based on these studies, these surveys, it's like women don't like sex. Because most of the women in these surveys, I'm going to say most, it's like just average, On average, these women that were surveyed saw that having sex with a male friend was undesirable and costly. Something that they really didn't want. They usually don't want. Unless they already were romantically involved with them. Romantically interested. And on these surveys, it's like the women in these platonic relationships aren't looking for sex, aren't even thinking about it, really. It's what they're looking for is just companionship, protection. And that was in the survey. They're looking for protection. They enjoy the protection. They enjoy the time. They enjoy the dining. They enjoy the benefit of the resources, the money that helps to. Hey, ladies, I'm just saying what the survey said. And ladies, let me tell you something. If I was a chick, I would totally be a fucking gold digger. If I was a chick, I would totally be a goddamn gold digger. I'll tell you why. If I don't have to pay for a drink at a bar, oh goddamn, I totally would fucking do that. Now, of course, I'd make sure it wasn't fucking roofied. Be like, I want to see that drink come from the bartender. Okay? And you bartender, you better not be doing anything goofy. So yeah, and keep in mind, the reason why these surveys, these psych surveys, I always question these surveys, because it's the way they do them. If you ever been through a psych program, or been in, if you studied psych in a university, you kind of get an understanding how these psych studies are done. What I mean is, the people they use as their participants. Okay, the people that they use for their population that they survey. Generally speaking, they're from the psych department. There are other students that are in the psych or psych-related, psych-adjacent departments. And it's actually required that they take out or they fill all these surveys. Now, sometimes it's not. Sometimes they actually screen and look for people that are couples, whatever. But if it's at a university, which these studies are, usually done at a university, they have right there at their disposal all sorts of students. And those students are probably having friendships and all the stuff happening. So, okay, they pull them. Now, what do we know? And this is generally speaking about people that are in psych, in gender studies and social studies, those sorts of fields. Generally more left-leaning, and not getting into politics here, but generally more, I guess, progressive, open to other things. Generally, maybe more feminist-minded. In which, when I say more feminist-minded, I'm talking about the other dirty side of feminism, where it's like men are evil and they're toxic and they just need to be destroyed and eradicated. That stuff. The stuff that's no good for anyone. The stuff that's no fun for anyone. That does happen. So that's why okay, so these surveys say, according to the survey, that most men are they want some sex. They're looking at sex out of a friendship. And most women in these surveys are saying, the women don't really want sex. It's not something they see kind of costly. They try to avoid it. Okay. All right. Makes me wonder if they polled. Because, I guess it is a joke that maybe women don't like sex, don't want sex or anything like that. But it's, like I said, I've read those magazines. I've seen what's advertised to women. It's like, what's going on here? Really? Okay, well, alrighty then. Of course, we're just talking about men and women hooking up just to be friends. Obviously, there are plenty of women out there that hook up with men with the intention to go on a date and for it to become something more, Now, if you just become friends, but see, my problem with these surveys is wouldn't most dating, most couples start off as friends, dating, going out. It seems logical to start off as friends, going out, right? You don't just walk up to a chick and say, hey, do you want to, I guess you could say you want to go out on a date. Sure. But even in that first couple of dates, you're not really boyfriend, girlfriend. You're nothing romantic. No, it's like a friend. It's a potential friendship with some stakes involved and maybe some benefits involved, some costs and benefits. And really, if you walk up to a random person and say, hey, you want to go on a date, they might think you're crazy anymore because people don't even do that. First off, that would normally happen at a school setting or something, or where you kind of familiar with the person, maybe at a workplace. where you're kind of familiar with the person, you kind of know them, so there's sort of so you kind of know each other. I mean, if it's just blind, some random stranger coming up to you, be like, "Hey, I think you're hot. Would you like to go on a date?" Like, who are you? Stranger, right? That's what that is. And anymore, these couples now. I mean, the men and women are using like these dating apps, hooking up, not even having friendships, just hooking up, having one night stands, and calling it quits. You know? I mean, these things I'm talking about really kind of put things in perspective when you think about these surveys. I mean, this one here. Let's see. On Scientific American, it talks about the survey. What is it called? Okay. In this study, they had 88 participants. 88. Okay. 88 different, and they're couples, and they screened them, and they make sure everything was handled privately, and they would ask them a series of questions and get some results. Okay. That's what this is based on. All right. So yeah, the 88 pairs of undergraduates. 88 pairs of undergraduates, opposite sex friends into a science lab. That's what I'm talking about. When they do these surveys, they use undergrads at a university. At a science lab? Okay. Yeah, that's just a room. Sounds fancy. It's not. It's just a room. Let's see. In it, they asked a bunch of questions. The friendship pairs were then separated, and each member of each pair were asked a series of questions related to his or her romantic feelings toward the friend with whom they were taking the study. The results suggest large Okay. This is interesting. I mean, some of these people might already have like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and they're just friends. Like that was my situation in college. I mean, if you're serving undergrads, you might be running into that scenario. I wonder if they screen for that. Because obviously, if the woman already has a boyfriend, she may not be interested. Most definitely not interested. Unless she's wanted to complicate things or see you have it being I don't know, better than her current. That's usually how it goes. I mean, when people cheat, they cheat because they see something in the other that they're not getting from their current. Okay. So the results suggest larger, according to this article here, large gender differences in how men and women experience opposite sex friendships. Men were much more attached to their female friends than vice versa. So men were much more interested in their female friends. Where could this go? Could this go somewhere? Men were also more likely than women to think that their opposite sex friends were attracted to them. A clearly misguided belief. In fact, men's estimates of how attractive they were to their female friends had virtually nothing to do with how these women actually felt. Well, of course, we can't read feelings. Oh, what? Like we could just read feelings like that. Come on now. And almost everything to do with how the men themselves felt. Basically, males assumed that any romantic attraction they experienced was mutual. Well, yeah. And were blind to the actual level of romantic interest felt by female friends. That happens. That happens. Sure. So, and women too were blind to the mindset of their opposite sex friends. Because females generally were not attracted to their male friends. They assumed that this lack of attraction was mutual. So, like, I am curious about this because I wonder what's going on there. Like, why are the women in these platonic relationships not interested? Do they already have a boyfriend? Like, what's going on? Okay, because this makes it seem like women are just not interested in pursuing a romantic, a romantic relationship with a man, which is not true. Obviously not true. Heterosexual relationships are like the norm, and that's not offensive. That's just a fact. That's just what it is, right? On average, most people are heterosexual, and most people, go through those relationships. Now, of course, those relationships can sometimes be total relationships, but it happens. So I'm willing to bet that a lot of these women, and maybe even these guys too, had someone on the side. And the guys maybe who are not as faithful. I mean, if you would have be true here, be real, generally speaking, it's usually the men that cheat. But it takes two, right? It takes two. I know women cheat too. Boy, oh boy, we could do a rant and chill about that. We totally freaking could. When women cheat, it's seen as empowering, and the man is blamed for why. When men cheat, it's seen as an act of betrayal, and the men are blamed for why. Okay, so let me take a side here and talk about my personal experience with these sort of relationships here. Okay, so when I was in college, well, let me start. When I was in high school, I was pretty much a pale white gamer, anime dork virgin who really didn't get around. Got no tell. You know what I'm talking about. In college, I changed. Actually, that's what I was working. Believe it or not. I found my... I hooked up with this chick that later became my fiance, later my wife, at the place where I worked. They say don't know most of the people that you work with. Watch out what you post, dead man. My main channel of 8 years got fried by Susan. Speaking of women. I'll be fine. I think we will be okay here. I handle myself in a clear way. I try to be fair. Ladies, I'm not hateful. No, I love the women. I love ladies. It's just, sometimes you got to hear some stuff. Oh, it's mansplaining. Okay. What do I call it when you do it? Cuntsplaining? Come on now. Come on. We could all use a reality check. All right. So, yeah. When I was in college, I had a fiance at the time. And during that, and I was in the psych program. I was the only guy there. Cock in the hen house scenario. I mean, it was like chicks everywhere. And they weren't all like blue-haired feminists. This is Houston. So, and this was back, well, I mean, I don't want to give out the whole year and all that, but that whole woke stuff hadn't fully invaded yet. But so, long story short, I had a handful of girlfriends that were just friends. Of course, I had a fiance at the time, so I knew what I was getting into. So I didn't. In this situation, like if I was surveyed, I'd be like, nah, I'm not looking for anything sexual. However, depending on how the survey's worded, I might just come out that way. Because if the survey's worded like, have you ever thought of your female friend in a sexual way? But like, have I ever had a sexual thought about her? Like a dream, like a daydream of what it would be like? Maybe we become really good friends, and my fiance becomes good friends, and we have like a threesome thing. Like, are you asking that question? Because if so, probably yeah. What? Oh, but that's not. Is that what you're asking? Because probably yeah. So and you got to be careful with these surveys, depending on how they word the question. They're gonna get a certain responses. So even me. Like, I was faithful with my fiance, with my wife. Then I did tell one moment, and we'll get into that later. We'll get to that on another stream. Okay, so had these girlfriends, no issues, didn't have any desire to get anything involved. Obviously, every time I interacted with them, the thought in my mind was, I got to be extra careful here because I don't want my fiance to think that I'm doing anything behind her back or anything. It's bad enough that half these, like, everyone I talk to in class is a woman. Half the people I talk to, or everyone I talk to, like in group projects that they go to school and spend extra time in and all that, and spend late nights at the university with, are women. So it's like, you know, if I wanted to be that guy, that sleazy dog, and just plow all sorts of ass while having a fiance, I could have done that. Didn't do that. Was really worried about that. But with that said, there were times in these friendships where little moments would occur. Little moments. And you could say, yeah, maybe I misread them. But I'm talking like I misread them to the point to where I'm looking back at it and be like, was she coming on to me? Was she coming on to me? And to make sure I was right about that, I would then explain it to my fiance, who was obviously my wife now. And I'd be like, yeah, this happened. Was I wrong there? Of course, she would look at me and be like, you're just telling me this now? Like, why were you friends with her? Yeah, she was coming on to you. Oh. Well, I'm such an idiot. Like, I'm bad at reading those signs. So, I think a first example, I'm going to just call her Amber. Okay. Or AP. Call her AP. She was cute. I mean, when guys see chicks, I mean, they are judging based on what they see. Any guy who says otherwise is a complete fucking liar. Complete fucking liar. I could speak for all men and say when we see women, we are taking note of how they look, of their appearance. And women do the same thing. So yeah, she was cute. I was like, okay. Just talking to her. She was fun. She was into like Kevin Smith movies, so we talked about that stuff, whatever. We had studying and stuff together, and actual studying that wasn't code for anything else. But this one time she would tell me about how she's going through a horrible breakup with her insane psycho boyfriend, and how he would follow her, stalk her, harass her to the point where her family got involved. I was like, oh man. Okay. She's telling me about a boyfriend she has. She's telling me that she's having a horrible time with him and breaking up with him. And so what is this? Okay. But I'd talk to her about it, be like, okay, yeah, the guy sounds like a complete psycho. Yeah, you do right. You gotta separate yourself from him. But one day she was like in total distress, like crying, shook. I was like, what happened? She's like, I have to talk to you about this after class. I was like, okay. After class, went to go get some coffee, and she spent like 30 minutes, 40 minutes telling me the story about her and her ex and how horrible it is. It was some crazy stuff. She was crying all that. And then, like, that's obviously a moment where I could have, if I wanted to be that guy, console her, like, here, have a hug, and, have a shoulder to cry on, whatever. I did none of that. I was like, she probably wants me to do that. I don't know. I mean, the way she's acted, like, it seems like she's calling for me to do something. But I was like, my fiance is not gonna like that, no. If he says, I know if I did that, I don't even trust myself. See, I know if I did that things probably would have led to something, and I have to put myself in check. It's hard being a man. You have to put yourself in check. You got to put yourself on the leash. All right. So I told my wife that. And she was like, yeah, I mean, she was probably just wanting you to hug her and all this stuff. It's like, okay. But, like, do you think anything, I mean, like, what was that? Because the common joke is, I'm an absolute klutz when it comes to reading signs, whatever. Like, I'm completely oblivious when chicks are hitting on me. Like, I don't register it at all. Like, what, you're hitting on me? What? Why? Why would you do that? I told her that. She's like, yeah, that was a move. Like she wanted you to hug her. She wanted you to be there for her. Oh, let me take this call. What's going on here? What? They're going to suspend my social security number? What? I'm a legal citizen. Granted, I was born in Saudi Arabia. Maybe they found that out. Maybe they found out that my parents were actually Arabic. They were a part of the Al Qaeda. Yeah, I was smuggled over. Like, okay. Then there's a time where there was this chick in my behavioral psychology class, Brianna, and I hate that name. That name is, I cannot stand it. Brianna. We were friends. Similar. You know, we would study together, try to pass these stupid tests together. Sometimes text, sometimes call. I like RPG. They suspended my SSN too, but luckily the guy on the phone said I just had to pay money to fix it. You had to pay? What? I'm not paying any money to fix it. Why should I fix? What? No. If I'm gauging, I'm pretending like I'm acting like that was a complete prank, was some bullshit call. If they come out and be like your social is no longer valid, I'd be like, I'll have a huge problem with that shit. We'll have a rant and chill. We'll have a couple of them after that because it's like, you're telling me my social security number is invalid now? What the fuck are you talking about? You're letting all these illegals cross the border, getting social security numbers generated for them, and you say mine's invalid? Because maybe some Mexican dude got it, and that's not racist the way I said it, because it's literally some dude from Mexico crossing over the border. Maybe that's what's the problem. Huh? Maybe Juan... Maybe Jose, Javier. Maybe they have my social now. It's progressive. Hand your social over to the new generation, white man. But Biden, you used to be racist. What's wrong with you? You used to be all about super predators and all that shit. What's wrong with you? Alec RPG said, if he didn't pay, he would send French Foreign Legion after me. I'd be like, well, that's weird because I'm in America. So, no. Like, I don't react well to those calls at all. I treat them all like they're bullshit. In fact, I rarely answer my phone. The fact I answered that was... But anyway... Brianna. Yeah, we're friends. This is one I told you. We went to the pub, some local pub, and we were hanging out, talking. I didn't know what the hell to talk to her about because we weren't really that connected, you know. We kind of bullshit about some movies, some sports stuff like Texans, shit on the Texans a little bit. But that's the one, looking back at it, dude, we spent like 30, 45 minutes at that place. Many times where I'm looking at her, she's like looking at me like this close, eyes fixated into my eyes. Keep in mind, I didn't register that because I had a fiance at the time. So I wasn't thinking that. I wasn't thinking, yeah, I want to have sex with this chick. No. I was thinking, I guess talk some bullshit with this chick. I mean, she just wants to hang out, grab a beer, and just bullshit. Okay. Looking back at it, I'm like, did she want something else? I mean, is that why later on she sent me an image of her in her lingerie? I had to delete that image. Oh man, that came in. I was playing Ark Survival Evolved on the Xbox. I was downstairs. This is back when I was living at my parents' house. They weren't there. I lived in my home I grew up in for a while, where my parents, they moved out. I kicked my parents out of the house. Oh, goofy. But I was downstairs. She was my wife then. She was upstairs with my son. He was like 1 at the time. And I received this message out of random. It was that Brianna chick in her lingerie. I'm like, we hadn't talked in like a while now. What? She's like, oh, that was accidental. That could have been just accidental. It could have been. I have no idea. But why the hell would I still be there on her phone? Dude, I don't know. Sent it to the wrong Jesse. Maybe she has a thing for banging Jessies. I have no fucking idea. I totally missed that ride. She was hot too. But, you know, like I said, I was in a relationship. See, now you can see how these surveys get these results. Like, as a man talking about this, acknowledging that I was in a relationship at the time, I will be honest and tell you that, yeah, I thought she was attractive. And if the moment arrives, I guess we could have, would have, I don't know. Like, I would hope not, because that would be a bastardly thing to do, an awful thing to do, betrayal of trust and all that. So while I might entertain it, like in my mind, be like this grand pornographic video, whatever, this insane stuff. Keep in mind, I was like a major coomer then. I'm a recovering coomer, trying to watch less porn. Yeah. So yeah, you're gonna get on average men saying that they wouldn't mind having sex, or seeing their friendship with their female friends turning romantic, turning sexual, you know. Now, but what about for you guys in the chat? Have you had this issue? Or your friends with this chick and things get weird? I could think of some examples way before I was in any sort of committed relationship. Actually, in high school, senior year, there was a couple of chick friends, and I think about it. One, there's this one, well, there was this Vietnamese chick, and then there was this Indian chick, like Indian, like, you know, red dot right here, Indian, you know. All right. She was a friend. She knew my friends. We all sort of hanged out together. Her name was Afshin. We went to her. Okay, that was weird. It was a weird disconnection from OBS. You know, in the future, maybe I should just do these as straight up webcam. Since there's really no production quality for these rant and chills, it's really just me talking. Kind of like in the like just about everybody else on YouTube, like Gothic King Cobra or Sleazy Peasy Martini. So except I need to smoke cigarettes to be on his level. Nah, I can't do that. Cigars is where I'll go. Cigarettes, no. Now, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, that's right. When you're friends with a chick and things get complicated, things get weird, it's because we misread things. We overestimate whether or not this could become sexual or be romantic or whatever. And then chicks often underplay that stuff. But in my experience, because I'm so like naive to when chicks are hitting on me or whatever, so aloof to it, I should say, that it's like, oh, that was a sign right there. Oh, I was definitely not into that. Like this Afshin chick, I wasn't really into her. She wasn't really my thing, my type. I had yellow fever. I was really wanting to get things going with the Vietnamese chick. Either her or her sister. Hey, you'd be like, that's wrong. Not at the same time, bro. Okay. They were twins. And honestly, I couldn't tell which one was which. And that's not being racist. They were very, very similar looking, and I couldn't tell. And sometimes they played pranks on me with that shit. And when I get it wrong, they'll be so mad. But then they'll just come back and like talk to me. And they were real short too. They were like, they would walk up to me. They'd walk up to me and be like, down here. Yes, that's goofy stuff. Anyway, I wanted to have things going on with her. So I wasn't interested. Totally misread the signs. Totally. I was like, yeah, I'd be giving her rides to her house. Drop her off at her apartment. And there's been many times where she would look at me for a period and be like, all right, yeah, all right, Afshin, here you are. Time to go. Time to get your bags and get the fuck out of my car. No, but she'd be like, my parents aren't home. And my brother, wow, he's not home either. They're like, oh, I hope you're safe. Do you feel like you're safe up there? I mean, if you don't feel safe, maybe you should call the cops. Totally missed the sign. But then again, I didn't care. I wasn't into her. I saw what she had. She had a G-string out of hair. I saw it. She had hair around her waist. I mean, she wore short shirts and all that stuff. So it's like I saw the hair and I was thinking, man, if that's what she has showing, what does she have down there? Like, is it going to be hard to find? Is it going to be like buried in carpet? Like, do I want that? No. I got standards, man. I got standards. I'm trying to hit it off with these two Vietnamese sisters, not really caring which one's which because, I have standards. But so I was like, no. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. It did. My friends were like, Afshin was trying to fuck you, right? I was like, yep, she was. But I wasn't having any of that. I mean, I can think of examples. I know they're all anecdotes, and it's all just coming from one guy, me. But pretty much all my examples, I see like, I think she wanted something. I'm pretty sure she wanted something. So, in perspective with those surveys I talked about earlier, it seems like, I don't know, man. I know that's based on average responses, but it's kind of, how truthful are those responses? Who are you polling? What sort of questions are you asking? What's going on in their personal life? Like, do those chicks in those surveys, do they already have boyfriends? Are they already engaged? Like, what's going on, Mm. There was this chick at work, Maggie. She was cute. She had a huge ass, and she like sat right next to me. I worked at the call center for Echo Star or Dish Network. Echo Star is the company that made the equipment, like the receivers and the satellite dish, or not? Well, yeah, the dish, and they also were part of what the team, or part in the development of the actual satellites themselves, and which they would get like China, they would get China to launch the satellites up for dirt cheap, you know. Anyway, I worked there at that call center, horrible place, and that's also the same place where I met my wife, right, or the woman that would be my wife, and we were dating. I was dating the chick that would be my wife later on. And then there was this Maggie chick. We were friends. I did think she was kind of attractive. Kind of cute. Not really attractive. Like, you know, my girlfriend was much, much hotter. Even though that wasn't really a thing that I really cared about that much. It's just, okay. You know, this chick is, okay, she's kind of cute, but, you know, we could be friends. So we're talking, and she was all into anime stuff, so we talked about anime stuff. And, you know, I think that friendship was actually just friendship. There was no awkwardness. Nothing ever came up. There was never any sort of awkward moment or anything. We even went to some parties. Like she would be there, you know, and my girlfriend would be there. I think things were appropriate, at least from what I observed anyway. I don't know though. Maybe in her perspective is different. Could be different. I have no idea. I could have had the hairy one, right? I could have. Now, I'm looking back at it. I was in high school, and I've seen her career. She was a bank teller. I think now she works in finance. So I could have just, you know, watered the garden and then been involved in someone who was already on a path to, you know, make some pretty good money. So, damn it. Fuck. No, I don't really feel that way. I don't have regrets about that stuff. Living with regret, it really does nothing for you. I mean, it just bogs you down, puts you down. Like, and those people that live with regret, they're making a choice to do that. I mean, you could, like, think about what you could do about your situation, maybe to empower yourself a little bit or get out of your situation. I mean, we all have things we regret, I guess, if you want to really talk about that. We all have things that we regret. But to dwell on it and to just, focus on it, fixate on it, let it consume you, that's no good. Because then you're bogged down on what could have been, what should have been, and you're not really thinking about your present day. Well, you could probably say, well, I am thinking about my present day. You're thinking about your present day in comparison to what the past had. So your mind's living in the past. Like your dreams, your prospects of a future is all fixated on the past, as if that can be revisited, as if that can happen again. No. How well does that work for you? Oh, see, now that's a rant and chill topic. Regrets and living in the past. That may be the topic for tomorrow. If there will be one tomorrow, we'll see. I will wrap up here because I have to take some calls, do some stuff, and you guys have a good one. So, in short, can men and women be friends? Just friends? It's complicated. Usually, no. Because men want something, women want something, and they may not be really honest about it. And not because they're malicious or anything. It's just sometimes it's really hard to be honest about your feelings about what you want because it could cost it. It could cost the friendship. Anyway, guys, ladies, take it easy.